There's some connections between all of this sentiment and the history of Sir John A. Macdonald. I have been teaching kids for a long time and I've worked in schools, and I see how there's a lot of pressure on history teachers in particular, because a lot of these debates that you see happening out in Canadian society or problems, people want schools to correct them. 3 years ago, I wrote an article in the Globe and Mail, and it said, let's continue to be sure we educate ourselves about not only historical legacies, but also about the nature of history itself. Let's not cherry pick the unsavory parts, but rather add contextual plaques to statues that explain the many facets to readers. The world is not black and white, and history is as gray as a late November sky. I got called into the office by a senior administrator at my school when this piece was read, and I was asked about what were my classes like, and I needed to send documentation of the multiple perspectives that I used in my class, which I'd been using for my whole career. But this was the kind of climate that out there. Then just a couple of weeks ago, I was in Montreal. Some of you might recognize this former statue, I guess. It's a plinth that has the word MacDonald on it. This is in Place du Canada in Montreal. But you shouldn't be able to see the Marriott Hotel through that plinth. You should be seeing the first Prime Minister of Canada. And of course, I knew what had happened, but it was very real for me to see it, particularly with his name there, but the statuary missing. It was as though John A. Macdonald himself had just disappeared. And so these are some of the things, the issue of pressure on teachers, depending on what they say or write, taking down of statues. This is a misunderstanding of history. So is when we don't know about residential school history. And so both of these things are about having a solid understanding of what has happened in the country.